Then you have this Dingell. You know Dingell from Michigan? You know Dingell? You ever hear of her, Michigan? Debbie Dingell, that's a real beauty. So she calls me up like 8 months ago. Her husband was there a long time. But I didn't give him the B treatment. I didn't give him the C or the D. I could have. Nobody would have, you know. I gave the A+ treatment. Take down the flags. Why are you taking them down? For ex-Congressman Dingell. Oh, okay. Do this, do that. Rotunda, everything. I gave him everything. That's okay. I don't want anything for it. I don't need anything for anything. She calls me up. It's the nicest thing that's ever happened. Thank you so much. John would be so thrilled. He's looking down. He'd be so thrilled. Thank you so much, sir. I said, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Maybe he's looking up. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
That was President Donald Trump making a joke about the late Representative John Dingell possibly being in hell and looking up from hell. So that's kind of gross. Look, why even talk about this? Why even bring this up at a campaign rally? Well, he can't help himself. Again, he's in front of essentially a captive audience, right? And he can't help but make terrible jokes about people who disagree with him. Oh man, I could have done so many, worse things when Representative Dingell died. But hey, I decided not to, and you still had the temerity to vote for impeachment. How dare you? How dare you? I mean, again, the most obvious impeachment, and yet the Democrats can't seem to get it right. But that's a different story. That's a different discussion, right? But look, man, who thinks like that? Well, obviously the president of the United States. It's the most profuse thank you could ever get. It was a 10. Who ranks things like that from 1 to 10? That doesn't make any sense. This guy's a monster. He's straight up the worst guy you could imagine, right? These MAGA guys, though, they love him. I mean, you saw the crowd. They think they're owning the libs by being complete and utter assholes to people. And unfortunately, that's what the Republican Party has become. They've become the party of we don't stand for anything except owning the libs. This is why all the principled conservatives, or at least most of them, the few that we actually had remaining, left the party. One example is Justin Amash. Justin Amash, also from Michigan. By the way, you can tell I'm a Michigander, right? So I don't agree with anything, basically, Justin Amash has on policy. But that's because he's consistently conservative on his positions, right? Now, that's also, again, one reason why I'm actually giving him credit, because he actually does believe in conservative principles. He does not go out there to trigger the libs. Justin Amash also in favor of the Constitution and therefore in favor of impeachment. So Justin Amash left the Republican Party, or I shouldn't say he left the Republican Party. The Republican Party left him by becoming the party of basically assholes. And so another conservative I give credit to, Andrew Napolitano. Again, this guy's not out there trying to own the libs. Massive disagreements when it comes to policy. But when it comes to, things like breaking the law, well, we all agree that people who break the law should be held accountable, and impeachment is one of those ways. Okay? But look, the new Republican Party is basically just a collection of selfish jerks who get off on hurting people in the nastiest ways. They cheer President Trump when he does that thing, when he says those things. And ironically, when you pointed out, they get triggered just like a bully does. And that's what this is. Oh, the intolerant left. You had President Trump out here screaming in all caps, not screaming, but putting on all caps, which basically denotes yelling on Twitter, presidential harassment. There are even conservatives that are saying, oh, that's just Donald Trump punching back over her impeachment vote. No. What he's doing is basically punching a corpse while the family watches. Imagine him going to a funeral, opening up the casket and punching Dingell in the face. That's exactly what he's doing. I'm so sorry about that comparison. If anybody, Debbie Dingell's watching, I do apologize for that. But that's what he's doing to your family. And so this makes him, again, one of the worst people in the world. One of the worst. Now, lucky for him, corpses don't fight back, but his family does. In fact, here's Representative Debbie Dingell. She tweeted this out. Mr. President, and by the way, I'm going to say that this is an incredibly classy response, especially considering what President Trump had said. Mr. President, let's set politics aside. My husband earned all his accolades after a lifetime of service. I'm preparing for my first holiday season without the man that I love. You brought me down in a way you can never imagine, and your hurtful words just made my healing much harder. And yet there are still people out there that'll look at that and go, good. Nailed it. Great. We hurt someone because they dared vote in favor of the Constitution against my guy. The president and some of his followers are sociopaths. The people that laugh at this, monstrous as well. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.